What up, YouTube? We're jumping into our Ukraine news. Ukraine still kicking ass. Don't you forget it. Yeah, Ukraine's still kicking a lot of butt, but, you know, it's like I was saying earlier at the beginning of the stream, you know, Russia is fighting the war it wants to fight. Russia is getting the war it wants right now. You know, war of attrition, right? Just pump out as many tanks, put as many bodies on the front line. You know, doesn't even care. It doesn't even matter if they're carrying a Mosin, right? Just, you know, just the fact that they're there means that the Ukraine has to remove them. It's a whole, you know, they have to expend effort. So there's a value in just being present militarily. And you know, the horrors don't seem to be stopping. And I would like to mention as well that even though there hasn't been an escalation in terms of, like, you know, chemical weapons, more chemical weapons being used. I learned recently that Russia has been using chemical weapons, I guess tear gas, but some reports of other more deadly chemical weapons. But, you know, in terms of like a real legitimate, you know, a nuke or, you know, something else, like there hasn't been an escalation, but there feels like there's an escalation in brutality. And, you know, this is just my opinion, but I don't know, something feels more violent, feels even more brutal than before. I feel like we might have another Bucha happen. I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe it's just a bad feeling, but I don't know. I just got a bad feeling. That's what it is. I just got a bad feeling in my gut that Russia is gonna, you know, because that's the strategy. Then, and you know, Putin experts, I've heard Putin experts talk about this before. Putin only doubles down. That's the strategy that he loves to employ the most, and that's where he feels most comfortable. Escalating, doubling down, you know, leaning on brutality, and you know, just the general, you know, strategy of making your enemy miserable. You know. So here we have just another example of Russian barbarity. That there is no equivalent on the Ukrainian side to the whatabouters and what ifers and, you know, cynics out there who are still supporting Russia in their effort to invade Ukraine, being dragged out, being in Russia's favor. They can't afford in Afghanistan at this scale, can they? I mean, we've seen some inflation problems with the ruble. You know, it's like what, like 100 to 1 or to the dollar or something, right? Something like that, but I don't know. They seem to be able to fake it. China fakes it. Avangard, you know, $500 billion, 500 bazillion trillion dollars goes up in smoke. Business as usual, because it's all fake numbers. It's all a bunch of fucking fake bullshit. I don't know. I mean, there's clear evidence that the sanctions are doing damage to the Russian economy. Is it really doing enough though? You know, because I heard the rumors about Russia running out of weapons, running out of ammo, running out of missiles. They got plenty. Where they just seem to always have more. It's old. It's shit out of the Cold War. But I don't know, man. I don't want to fall into this naive, you know, trap of like, well, Russia's defeat is right around the corner. Russia's defeat is right around the corner. I mean, any day that economy is going to collapse. I just see no evidence of that. You know, it's depressing. I see no proof of that being real. I know, and I'm sorry. I'm a party pooper. I'm Davey. But yeah, so here we have Russia stops providing insulin to civilians without Russian citizenship in occupied village in Kherson Oblast. So you're sick, you're in occupied Kherson Oblast, which means region. So you're in the, you know, probably on the other side of the Dnipro River. The sanctions have had little effect. I don't know about little effect. Swift was removing them from Swift was a major blow, but clearly they've figured it out. You know, they figured, I don't know, maybe they haven't. Maybe it's not so clear. Maybe it's like literally like tomorrow, right? The jig is up. They can't fake it anymore, and you know that economic collapse happens. I really don't know. I really don't know, to be honest with you. But yeah, so here's the scenario: you're a Ukrainian living in occupied Kherson Oblast. Russia, you're sick or you have diabetes and you need insulin. Russia says the only way we're going to give you insulin is if you take our passport, take citizenship. God help you if you are a military-aged man, because if you take that citizenship to get insulin, you'll probably get the call from the recruiter before you get home from the hospital. Oh, hey, are you better now? Oh, so as a Russian citizen who's of military age, you got to go to the front line. Luckily, you live right next to it. Luckily, you're right next door. So just hop on over there, bucko. Thanks a lot. Oh, and if you don't do that, we're going to arrest you because Russian citizens need to do what we say. So, yeah. Now that you're a Russian citizen and you've taken our insulin, you now have to go fight against your fellow countrymen, or we're going to arrest you and send you to some labor camp in the middle of fucking nowhere for a good chunk of your life. So anyway, enjoy, bucko. Thanks a lot. That's what we're seeing. I mean, you know, the whole part about getting recruited, I just made up. But would that be beyond Russia? You know what I mean? Force somebody to take citizenship and then recruit them into the war? You trying to tell me that that's not a real reality? Oh, you like that insulin? Yeah, with plenty of insulin on the front line, buddy. So, got to give props to my boy Cam Goblin. Thank you so much, Cam Goblin, for this wonderful link. This is the true face of Ukrainian communism. So this is the head of the Ukrainian Communist Party, the UCP. This is his home. It's the leader of the Communist Party. I don't know. I mean, does a communist need to live in poverty to be a communist, right? Oh, he's got the bidet. Nice. Very nice. Nice place. I mean, communism is not the same as fascism. To the whatabouters and bad actors out there, that's not, because a lot of people, a lot of dummies, they say, oh, fascism is on one side of the coin and the other side is communism. No. The problem as a democratic socialist like me, I can't just sit here and throw communism in the trash, because some of the best socialist ideas come from communism, right? Come from this, from Marx, right? But I can't seem to nail down a communist when it comes to this. And we had a big argument in the Discord. Check it out, Abandoned Nihilism Discord, if you want. It's right here. But we had a big fight because, I see communists on social media be like, they give this famous quote, of, what was it? Yeah, communist slogan, for each according to his ability, to each his need, something like that. From each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. So I see this quote thrown around quite a bit on social media defending rich communists, right? Because the idea is like, well, from each according to his ability. So if you are a very talented or skilled person, you get more of the share of the wealth, right? Because that's the idea of communism. It's managed at the top, and everyone gets according to what they actually need, according to their ability. So it's not just need, right? Not just sustenance and shelter, but if you are contributing to society, you should get more, right? You're working harder, you're making more, you should get more. So, I think it's interesting. It does show a certain kind of hypocrisy, but I'm not 100% convinced that a communist needs to be poor to be communist. You know what I mean? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You know, because does a progressive, does a democratic socialist need to be a pauper to be taken seriously? That doesn't seem right. I don't know. Just a thought. Moving on. Welcome back, Unsatiable. Hey, you know, all the people that are not chatting and ignoring the stream, you're going to miss some really cool videos that I'm about to play. New plan inducing a Pavlovian response to my work crush by playing a sound after. Wow. Enjoy your sexual harassment lawsuit is what I got to say. Definitely says yes for months, and then playing the sound at the time she's a condition to say yes. Yeah, Unsatiable. Wasn't a lot of Pavlov's research discredited? That he ended up torturing a lot of animals for no good goddamn reason. But a communist who says that no one should own a mansion can't themselves at the same time own a mansion. That's the thing. I don't think communists say that. You know, serious communists, not children in their basement, right? Not, you know, not 16-year-olds who listen to Grimes and think they understand what, you know, the communists. They did a quick thumbing of the Communist Manifesto and they think they know what's going on. No, but actual like scholarly communists, I don't think they would make that argument that you're not allowed to be wealthy or successful in a communist regime. I don't think they would say that. So yeah, I'm really glad all the people are ignoring my stream. They just left. They got too bored. Niger bored them to death, and they're missing the good stuff here. So that's what you get. I feel bad for you. Yeah, you leave the #1 news program on Twitch because it's so boring. African news. Oh, I don't care. I don't care. Well, now you're missing the good stuff. So how do you feel now? Person not watching. Yeah, got him. They're all jerking it to Amarath. Who would be kidding? Damn, dude. So this is either a Storm Shadow or a JDAM, destruction of Russian command post in private housing, date and location unknown. So, you know, Russian command picked a really nice, she's okay, yeah. I'm not really into the look that she's given out, but she's a very attractive woman. So yeah, so they're just pointing out, look at all the military antennas. Right. Look at this big white cable. Oh my God. Nice stealthy military installation here. Look at this slap shot. So this house that Russian commander picked out for himself. Look at this nice car. Look at all these little antennas. So he picked himself out a nice little house that he stole from a Ukrainian. And this is what happened to it. Couldn't be bothered to. I know, dude. It's so embarrassing. God damn, dude. Look at that shit, dude. Unbelievable. A baboom. You gone. You gone, son. It's just pieces. I feel really bad for the Ukrainian that owned that home, though. What if a little kid was in there? The Russians then the Russians are using children to try and protect them from the military. They're literally using children as a human shield. And that's disgusting. Is that a Storm Shadow or is it the shadow on the screen unrelated? I think the shadow on the screen is unrelated. I'm not sure if that's a JDAM or a Storm Shadow. This kind of makes me feel like it's a JDAM. But I don't fucking know. It's a big boom. I mean, you get a couple frames. Let me see if I can get it, get the frame of the ordnance. Because you get a couple frames of it dropping in there. See if I can snag that. Come on. This is not YouTube, folks. So I can't do the frame by frame thing unless I can. No, I can't. Yeah, it just does that. It must be skipping frames or something on this bar here. Oh, you can kind of see it right here as it goes in. Yeah, I'm not sure what the ordinance is. It would be a waste of a Storm Shadow. Yeah, Storm Shadows are expensive, and they're as big as like a Honda Civic. They're huge. So yeah, we got some clips here from TVP World, everyone's favorite TVP World. Obviously, we're not going to get into the damn host. He's adorable in his little suit, though. Yeah, direct hit, no doubt. Very accurate. But just some amazing footage of Ukrainians, you know, trying to defend their country and get back their territory. Amazing heroism. See if we can get a better resolution here.
А давай ноги туда.
3 минути, не переживай. Дадуть газу.
Давай газу, газу! Газу, блядь!
I would feel so vulnerable. I would feel so vulnerable on a boat.
Да не все!
Dude, I'm getting PTSD just watching this shit, dude. Oh shit, they're taking fire. I don't know about safe, bro.
Все вышли, все в одного.
Они плывут тоже.
Да.
Все, тогда плывем.
Don't be grouping up like that, boys.
Давай на
wouldn't be
берег, на
grouping up
берег,
like
на
that.
берег. Загоняй.
Oh yeah, no, if you were in the ocean, but this, yeah, this is the Dnipro River, dude. He's injured, not dead, folks. Wow. This is 1 week of news. You know, I brought you 1 week's worth of news. This shit is happening so fast. It is happening unbelievably fast. I can't believe the amount of news, the amount of stuff that is changing on a dime. It's all happening so fast. So I think these are let's get the explanation from the host on this one here.
Sometimes takes fractions of a second. The next video shows how a group of Russians and drone operators suddenly saw a small dot in the sky. They knew it was a drone and quickly guessed that it was not one of their own.
I see. Okay. Yeah. So we've got some Russians up on the roof. Looks like they're planning operation. They're being Russian. They're so Russian. No, it looks like they're you know, doing something of some sort, giving information or up to something. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I would like to know more about this. This seems a little petty, but I don't know what I'm talking about. No, Panda Man. Not for that specific purpose. Okay, thank you for the music, for God's sakes. So, well, wow, okay. So maybe this is them. Someone was actually wounded up there from that attack. But here we see an extraction. Someone who's clearly wounded. No signal. Dramatic. All right, so this is the real meat and potato video right here. I scanned it before streaming for any dead bodies, and I did not find any. But there is a portion right here at the end where a Russian POW is being looked at, medically. So some of his skin is exposed on his thigh, and maybe there's a little bit of blood. He's got a tourniquet applied, but he was injured because he was in a trench, and the Ukrainians threw a grenade in there, and he's lucky to be alive. But the Ukrainians were doing first aid on him, and we're gonna have to censor that part out. But that's really the only part I really need to censor here. The rest of this is, this is a first-person view of what it's like to hit these trenches, and risk your life every second. You're risking. You could catch a bullet from any angle. This is one of the more stressful jobs in the Ukrainian military right here, is clearing these trenches.
Ми йдемо штурмувати. Сильно не зближайся до нас, Рой. Бо у нас буде контакт, і ти маєш бути на тяжці трошки.
It's the highest resolution I think we got. Yep, it's the best we got, folks.
Все, пройшли, подивилися льошки. І там по чуть-чуть ідуть льошки, ми їх перевіряємо без стрільби. Коротше, зняв такий екшен, сука. Але не включив камеру, блядь, ото я лох, сука. Вони, блядь, по правому флангу більше сходять. Я там вже двох завалив,
hold on. I remember this. He actually, hold on, I gotta censor this. He does show off, because he's, yeah. I can't show this part. He's super bummed that he killed 2 Russian soldiers, but he didn't have his camera on, which is like, if you ever stream DayZ or Escape from Tarkov, it's kind of similar. But then he goes to the Russian bodies to prove on camera that he killed them. So that's what I'm looking at right now, is a dead Russian guy. But then back to the video here. It's him like checking his camera, I think, on his helmet.
Плюс прийняв. Я зайняв полкоп. Зараз тут прилатаю його рюкзачок, нахуй. Тут наразка є.
Those are Russian rations right there.
А ти що, підарас? Диви, що, сука, носить, нахуй. То сюди, блядь. О, друзі.
Goodies.
Тут наразка. І граната.
I hope he was careful when he opened that box.
Красава, нахуй! Красава, блядь! Сава, давай я йду! Чекай!
This guy's very eager to kill Russians, I gotta say. He's very eager to do his job.
Тихо! Ший, ближче підійде, крий. Ля ти криса, сука!
Yeah, so they found some more in a trench, and they're doing, filling it with shots, throwing grenades in. This is SOP, this is standard operating
На,
procedure.
освободитель, блядь!
Take it, Liberator. A Rogue Studio, thank you for
Заходимо,
that
тут бліндаж
follow.
отак іде. Треба заходити, фонарик є? Тіпок! Що, больно? Больно, сука, виходи, блядь! Сколько вас человек?
So there was absolutely someone in there. He's now pleading for his life. Let me out. Okay, I give up. You got me. He was hit by the grenade shrapnel. And this is so freaky, because like so many times we've seen Ukrainians, just empty magazines into empty dugouts. But no. There's Russians up in there, man.
В окопе, нахуй! Трое! Что охуели, сука? Каждый поднял руки и выводит, нахуй! Руки, нахуй! Руки, сука! Броню снимаем, я сказал, блядь!
Wow.
100-300 чё, блядь?
Двоє 300 бачу. Руки, сука, покажи, нахуй! Пацани, побачив гранату, сука, я, блядь.
Yeah, look, and it's also good to point out, these guys are more stunned than you've ever been in your life, right? Did you ever hit your head really hard and you were like, oh, holy shit, like I'm dizzy, I'm nauseous? I mean, that's what these grenades do to you. You are completely disoriented. You can barely hear, right? Your ears are ringing and your whole body is like shaking. So that's what they're experiencing right now. Just so you understand, like what's happening with the Russians.
Нічого нету. Там точно ви троє були?
Yeah, inside a contained area. I mean, your ears are like fucking
Стій,
pounding.
зажми рану там собі нахуй.
All right, so
Зажми
this
рану, бо ти
guy's
вже білий.
wounded
нахуй.
from the grenade.
Давайте їх спасаємо, пацани. А в тебе що
He's
за
like,
рана,
okay,
чувак?
let's save him.
Єбать, це наші аптечки, пацани.
So this is wild. This is wild. The Russians were carrying Ukrainian medical kits, right? I mean, that's you don't get them for free. You get them off of dead bodies. You get them off of dead Ukrainians. So this guy has to take these guys prisoner. He's literally healing them with Ukrainian material with material that was stolen off of a dead Ukrainian soldier on the Russian, right? I mean, it's the reason why they take POWs so seriously, and the reason why it's not just a bunch of revenge and brutality, is that every Russian they take prisoner, they get another Ukrainian back home. And that's really important, and that's also really indicative of the professionalism of the Ukrainian military, that they're able to, because this is consistent behavior I've seen from the Ukrainian military. You know, they'll fuck you up. They will kill you, right? But they do often, I mean 9 times out of 10, they're shouting, give up, put your weapon down. You know, they're giving you an opportunity to save yourself. I mean, but of course, you know, a grenade dropped from a drone, you don't get a lot of warning on that. It's still a war. But I got to say, the professionalism of the Ukrainian military has been very impressive from the very beginning and still continues to be so. They could have left behind an offensive, but yes, it's possible they took them off soldiers. No, true. Todd in Minnesota, 100%. We don't know where it came from, but still, how would you act, Todd in Minnesota? You're a soldier, bullets whizzing by your head. You got buddies getting shot. You're taking a prisoner of your enemy, right? That's committing massacres in Bucha and your country. And then you see this. He's carrying your side's gear, right? And what do you think? Right? Well, I know what would be going through my mind. Oh, where'd you get this med kit? Right? What body did you pull it off of?
Чувак.
That's what I'd be thinking.
Єбать, це наші аптечки, пацани.
So I can't show this.
Ти якого хуя відстрілювався, підер?
The Russian's in a lot of pain, and you know, he's basically getting his pants cut open so he can get the wound looked at and treated.
А? Якого хуя стріляв? Стій.
Як виходить?
Дай мені.
There's a lot of blood. He got messed up. Grenade messed his leg up pretty good.
Ну, що ти рухай? Стань на місце, блядь, як був. Стань на місце, бо зараз крові стечеш, блядь. Ти не чуєш мене чи що, блядь?
I'd shoot him. Yeah, so
Ну,
just
ви, блядь,
basically
герої,
applying a
нахуй.
tourniquet.
Спасителі наші, да?
Can't show you this. Yeah, just applying a tourniquet there.
Пацани,
Okay, I
там
can show
походу
you
хтось є.
this.
Походу хтось є, да?
So he thinks he just saw some movement inside this dugout right here.
Давай. Крий, я заходжу.
Pretty sure this is a Russian who, you know, who is saving his own life by giving up. And this is why you give up, folks. So he throws a grenade in there, and then his camera gets bumped by something above him, and then it gives us this weird camera angle.
На нахуй.
There you
And
go.
with that
There you go. Absolutely amazing footage. And it's every single day, folks. I mean, like, it is seriously every single day. I don't know what I'm going to get. 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm taking my morning movements. I'm checking my phone, and I'm like, you know, I'm watching some of the most heroic and, you know, amazing footage I've ever seen in my life. Every single day, dude. I don't even know how to feel about it, though, right? Because I'm like, I'm not doing enough to change, to make this situation better. I'm not doing enough. War and peace, yeah. So this was an interesting link. Kem Goblin and Woke Patriot talking about Mapaganda, which is, you know, kind of, you know, using, you know, I guess normalizing conquest through the use of maps. Welcome back, Zeo Duke, by the way. According to the norms of international law, the positions of the UN, the European Union, and all democratic countries of the world, the official borders of Ukraine are the borders of 1991. Mapaganda is one of the forms of propaganda of the Russian Federation. Mapaganda is the spreading of the idea of the dismemberment of Ukraine in the information space. Mapaganda is implemented through the distribution of fake images of Ukraine in which the Crimea, Donetsk, and Luhansk, Zaporizhia, and Kherson regions of Ukraine are depicted as disputed territory. And yes, we absolutely do see Russia do this. Part of the Russian Federation, or part of the Russian Federation claimed by Ukraine. Isn't that great? They occupy an area and then they try to convince the world that it's Ukraine occupying their territory. Classic. So anyway, this is a petition here from change.org. Seems very interesting. I don't hate it. Check it out. Like it. I'm not really a member of change.org and I'm not interested in joining. But if you are a member, have an account, maybe you'd like to support this, go ahead and have a look. Seems very interesting. All right, moving on in a amazing move. Absolute. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like one of those moves you're like, I like that. Right? So here we have Zelensky. Funny screenshot, by the way. Here we have Zelensky telling you that he's disappointed after seeing your report card. But no, here we have Zelensky. This is an amazing move. So there was a lot of corruption and grift with military recruitment, people being able to bribe their way out of not being recruited, and all kinds of chicanery and all this. And Zelensky said, we are at war. It looks like they got their sweater on backwards. It kind of does. That's the look. That's the look. That's the design. But the logo right in the center and the collar kind of tight. It does look like he has a shirt on backwards. That's funny. 1991 was when Ukraine declared independence. Exactly. Yeah. With the Mapaganda. Yeah. No, and we've seen Russia do this with Georgia, as well. Other places as well. Moldova, I think, is another place that is, having kind of similar Mapaganda kind of issues. Anyway, this is brilliant. Back to what I was saying. The recruitment offices were allowing themselves to be bribed, $5,000, and we'll just, this guy's got a medical condition, can't go to the front line. Look, I get it though. I want to sympathize with young men who are afraid of dying, not wanting to be sent to a fucking war zone to die. So I want to be conscious of the real fear that some Ukrainian men will. Not every guy is like, they might be patriotic, but they're not. I'm gonna go get shot at patriotic, right? Not every guy is Rambo. So I sympathize. I also sympathize with the plight of Zelensky in Ukraine. We need men on the front line, women too, on the front line, trained and ready to fight. That's the reality of the situation. Russia is depending on apathy and defeatism, right? That's the whole strategy of terror that Russia is employing in Ukraine. So Zelensky with a brilliant move. These corrupt assholes, these recruiters are all being fired, all of them. I kind of feel, I'm sure there was a few recruiters that were not being corrupt, but they all get fired. He's like, I don't have time to figure out who's who. You're all gone. And who's replacing them? Military veterans, people that have already fought in this war. They can't go back for one reason or another. Their leg was blown off. You fill in the blank. Very Starship Trooper, if you recall correctly, right? The wounded veterans of the wars would work in civil service, and be revered for it. They would get higher positions and whatnot, like teachers and those kind of positions. So anyway, I love this move. Chef's kiss. More of this. Let's hear from Zelensky.
Бажаю здоров'я, шановні українці, українки. Щойно провів засідання РНБО спеціальне. Одне питання ключове – результати перевірки воєнкоматів. Доповіді ДБР, СБУ, МВС, Генеральний прокурор, НАЗК, НАБУ комплексно. Загалом вже 112 кримінальних проваджень щодо посадовців військкоматів, 33 підозри, обласні воєнкоми, міські, районні, працівники ВЛК, інші посадові особи. Зловживання в різних областях – Донецька, Полтавська, Вінницька, Одеська, Київська, Львівська. Хтось брав готівку, хтось криптовалютою. Хіба що в цьому різниця? Цинізм всюди однаковий.
Yeah, the
Незаконне
cynicism,
збагачення, легалізація незаконно отриманих коштів, неправомірна вигода,
It is
незаконне
cynical.
переправлення військовозобов'язаних
It's defeatist.
через кордон. Наші рішення наступні. Звільняємо всіх обласних воєнкомів. Керувати цією системою мають люди, які точно знають, що таке війна і чому цинізм та хабарництво у час війни – це державна зрада.
treasonous.
Натомість
In a time of war,
воїни,
it is
які
treasonous.
пройшли фронт або які не можуть бути в окопах, бо втратили здоров'я, втратили кінцівки, але зберегли свою гідність та не мають цинізму, їм можна довірити цю систему комплектування. Реалізувати
Love it.
це рішення повинен главком Залужний. Перед призначенням нових керівників ТЦК буде перевірка Служби безпеки України. Кожен воєнком, щодо якого є кримінальне провадження, нестиме відповідальність, цілком справедливу, повну. Звільнені воєнкоми і інші посадовці, які мають погони і щодо яких не виявлено даних про злочини чи порушення, якщо вони хочуть зберегти погони та довести свою гідність на фронт. Але
Oh, you hear that? Did you hear that, dude? Did you hear that? That's fucking woo, dog. That's some spicy ass shit. So he just said, look, if you're a recruiter that hasn't been corrupt, and you have not been found in violation, and you would like to keep your rank, see you on the front lines. Whoa, dude, whoa.
хочуть зберегти погони та довести свою гідність на фронт. Але, підкреслю, армія не є і ніколи не буде заміною кримінальному покаранню. Посадовці, які переплутали погони і вигоду, точно під суд. Питання ВЛК. Зараз ця система працює негідно, так як там ставляться до воїнів, так як ставляться до своїх завдань, просто аморально. За 2 тижні відбудеться засідання РНБО щодо цього питання. Зараз перевірка, підготовка пропозицій. Рішення теж будуть. Слава Україні!
It is seriously like, damn, dude. Ah, hits that button, man. We're doing this. God, I love that. Fuck, man, I love that. I love that a lot. If this wasn't a war, I don't know. Maybe I'd have a little criticism for it if this wasn't a war, if this wasn't wartime. But this is Ukraine is fighting a war for survival. We're not even talking about a war of like, you know, oh, if we lose, we're going to be embarrassed, but we get to lick our wounds. No, this is the existence of Ukraine at stake here. And you got military recruiters stuffing money in their pockets, you know, preventing able-bodied soldiers from getting to the front lines. Big problem. Big problem. They've been too accommodating of corruption in the name of unity. I mean, I think there's definitely been a lot of that, Zio Duke, but I gotta say, you know, Zelensky, and I think one of the reasons, of course, NATO, and you know, is a big one. But I have seen an honest attempt to at least make it look like they're doing something about corruption. Yeah, special military operation. Welcome back, Orange Hue. I recognize that icon. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Thank you for coming back. Appreciate it. All right, moving on. We got a couple more clips here, and some of these are great. I believe this is Chem Goblin posted this in the chat here. Get some tunage. Amazing. 6 sips morning coffee. All right. Amazing story of a 103-year-old resident. How is that even possible? Together with her daughters and neighbors, weaves Kikimora camouflage suits for our soldiers. 4 of her grandsons are now defending Ukraine. So she's got 4 family members, grandsons in this war. Amazing. Amazing. She's over here making ghillie suits, dude. Ghillie suits. That's the ghillie suit, homie. You see a little hand peeking out right there? Ghillie suit grandma over here. Badass. Total badass. I was wondering, Orange Hue, if that was a setup for a joke. Good one. But look at this. Ghillie suit grandma, absolute badass. How about that? Here she is doing it. Amazing stuff, taking all this material. Awesome. There's no zipper. How do you know? I'm also worried about heat. How hot are these things? Ghillie suit grandma. That is amazing. Amazing story. Here's something that is not amazing. Here is Russia deliberately targeting Ukrainian children, deliberately attempting to terrify children with multi-million-dollar missiles. Video of the terrifying moment: a second Russian cruise missile strikes the Rikatars Hotel in Zaporizhia, often used by UN staff when they're in the city. This was a deliberate double attack on a hotel used by foreigners with high-precision cruise missiles. I'm sorry, I must be thinking of a different atrocity that we're going to see a little later. This is not the atrocity on a kids' camp. Looks like this is an atrocity committed on a civilian hotel.
Еврейкарс. Грей. Во имя Иисуса Христа. Боже! Ракет! Во имя Иисуса. Роман Алайс. Смотрите, что происходит. Тихо, все. Не плачьте. Рабадала. Смотрите, что происходит. Стой.
Man, what an angle too. I mean, what an angle. I mean, this is the money shot right here. I mean, he sees that fucking thing come in, you know. What an angle. He's over here in like an elevated position in like, I mean, it's perfect shots right out of Hollywood. And look, man, every motherfucker that wants to what about, you know, you talk about Ukraine, oh, what about this, what about that? They need to see this video. They need to see this video. Shit is absolutely ridiculous. Ukraine is fighting a war against an army. Russia is 50% fighting a war against a military and 50%, you know, spending as unbelievable amounts of resources figuring out, because like you have to pick these targets. You have to coordinate. You gotta deliberate, have a discussion. This isn't just random. So you're sitting there at a table, you're having a discussion. Which civilian target, hospital, school, maternity ward, hotel, you have to sit there with your, you know, Russian uniform on and talk about which civilian population center are you going to terrorize today? There is no comparison. There is no comparison. 100% of Ukraine's targets in and outside of Russia, inside Ukraine or inside Russia, have been military targets. Yeah, what about the price of food in Russia? Now the eggs are unaffordable. They seem to be getting away with it, man. They made a new McDonald's and it's all good. Haven't they looked at the targets? They're down the road from a weapons factory or something. They just got shit technology. It's intentional. It's intentional because they're also hitting ammo dumps. They're also hitting military targets. But, you know, they got to keep the terror campaign going. So this is fascinating. You actually get to see, this is some sports event, some rowing tournament. I don't know, what would you even call this thing? The championship, the rowing. And you actually see one of the drone attacks, with the recent drone attacks that happened in Moscow. You actually see it in the in the background, man. See if you can spot it. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see, isn't it? Oh, it's right there. It's really hard to see. Boom. Russia's being supplied by Iran and China via the back door. That's definitely part of it, yeah. Ukrainian kamikaze UAV flying towards its target in Moscow. It's so interesting to see this terminology, kamikaze UAV, being used. There was a big pointless discussion in the Discord about the definition of suicide drones and like the use of the term suicide drone and it like and what the implications of that were. Very entertaining debate in the Discord. If you want to check that out, make sure you check it out. The Abandoned Nihilism Discord. I know I've posted a few times, but very spirited debate on the definition of suicide drone and all that. Very funny that this term is kamikaze UAV better? I proposed kamikaze. Like, should we use kamikaze? China happy to do good business with both sides. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But anyway, we have a kamikaze UAV, not to be confused with the suicide drone. God damn, that's frightening. It's not a toy. You know, you know what it reminds me of, and I hate to do this, but it reminds me of the V rockets from World War II. You know, the German V rockets, how they were so low to the ground and really noisy, and like, and you would see them over civilian infrastructure, right? Like, you know, just regular homes. These deadly kamikaze UAVs, not suicide drone. So we finally get, you know, that Russian tanker that was transporting Russian military goods, not, you know, people, you know, bad actors trying to say this is a civilian tanker and all that. Yeah, the V1 Doodlebugs. Yeah. So we actually get an up-close shot of this is a suicide boat, kamikaze boat that blew a hole into this tanker, and we actually get a clear picture of it because, you know, all the footage, all we had was the first-person footage from the boat, and it obviously when it blows up, you no longer get the footage. Eventually, they're going to have technology where it shoots the drone, flies off the boat at the last second. So you get the impact too, right? You get the footage of the explosion too. It's happening. That'd be so cool, right? It flies off the boat at the last second, so you get the image of it exploding. Hell yeah, boy, I want that. It's already happening. All right, so let's see what that boat did. Kind of damage the boat did. That's a hole. Yeah. Oh no, yeah. Yep, you're not going back out to sea until you fix that. They do that where there's a second drone filming it further away. Yeah. They do. All right, that's effective. That's pretty fucking effective, I would say, wouldn't you? Yeah, okay, he stops moving, he zooms in on it. That you know, that is immediately returned to the harbor. Like, you know, you're no longer, you know, using this boat until this is fixed. You know, it's okay if it doesn't blow it all up. If it just, you know, if it puts it out of commission, that's great too. That's a victory. It's all good. It's gonna take months to fix this. It doesn't look like 450 kilograms. You have to remember, Zeoduke, that the explosion, it's not like a missile. It's not like a torpedo that is like, you know, like a jet stream, like going, you know, penetrating, right? It's like an explosion that's happening. So a lot of that explosive energy is being wasted. It's being absorbed by the water and whatnot. So this, you know, this is about as good as you're gonna get for like a suicide boat, you know, a kamikaze boat, I mean. Yeah, this was one of the drone boats. Yeah, one of the drone boats, as seen on Anderson Cooper on CNN. He got an exclusive. I showed it. Wait, hold on. Is there more footage? Hold on. Did I close that too early? Let me just double check this. Make sure you check out the Herson Cat Twitter account. It's a special Herson Cat. It's pretty good Twitter account. Okay, yeah, so footage of the moment of the hit on the Russian tanker SIG. So here's what it looks like from the drone's perspective. That's not even an armored ship either. True. Yeah, that's just a, you know, goods and services kind of ship there. Normally a civilian tanker, but in this case being used for war. Yeah, you know, Zeoduke, you're right. Maybe the person, you know, hit the button a second too early, right? I don't know. Because look where it cuts off. I did notice this before. Kind of cuts off a little early, wouldn't you say? Right? Cuts off right about there. I mean, but that could just be signal loss because there's probably a big delay in the time that you actually get the footage when it's actually happening versus when you get the footage. Probably a 5-second delay or something. I don't know. Maybe it blew up just a little too early, and that a lot of that explosive energy wasn't hit by it didn't hit the boat. Hard to tell. Very different incident and circumstance, but seeing this particular damage takes me back to the USS Cole. Yeah, this is a torpedo. This looks like this is what a torpedo will do to your shit. Ukraina Nazis losing so bad even Polish presidents meant defeat. You dumbass libtard parasite. Wow. Wow, man. That hurts. That hurts. That hurts, bro. All right, buddy. Big tough guy over here. Don't commit a Bucha-style massacre on us, okay, bud? So what do we got here? More footage. Explosions reported in the area of Moscow River, the central part of the capital of Mordor. So we're seeing more and more of this, and I'm getting a little worried. I would really prefer... As long as these are military targets, but I don't know, this... I feel like we're straying away from that a little bit. Ukraine is straying away from that a little bit. So let's tighten it up a bit, Ukraine. Let's make sure we are only focusing on military targets, please. Maybe there was some kind of military related target right there. I don't know, but yeah. Yeah, the brief is getting stretched day by day. Yeah, you know what I mean? I just like, it's, don't shoot yourself in your foot, Ukrainian military. You got a good thing going here, and atrocities against civilians is the quickest thing to, you know, Putin would be jumping for joy to hear a report about Ukraine attacking Russian civilians. That's where we're at. But he would be cracking the chambly if he heard that report, because he knows the geopolitical reality of Ukraine making that choice and the ramifications of that. So let's keep it tight, Ukraine. So here's a great little bit of, you know, I'm not going to focus too much on the map stuff. Leave that to the experts. But here's the situation on the Kherson front, according to Rybar. You know, it's unfortunate. Not a lot of movement. This Dnipro River battle, we've seen Ukraine cross this, you know, so they have a very small beachhead that they've been heroically holding. And Russia has just been annihilating this position 24/7. But they hold fast. They got this little bit of chunk across the land. They're trying to create a stable beachhead. Man, it's rough. This has got to be some of the hard fought land right here in the whole war. I mean, the river, you got to cross the river, man. How do you even do that? So, like I said, I'm not going to bore you with my amateur analysis of the map, but I just wanted to point out what I'm seeing. You know, they've been holding this for several weeks, and quite heroic to do so. I hope their sacrifice is worth it. I believe in their sacrifice. I support their sacrifice. They're doing the best they can, you know. I don't want to sit here and criticize them. right? Oh, you should be doing more. Oh, really? Strap up then, right? So I don't want to say that, but I would prefer to see more, right? And I'm sure there's a lot of Ukrainian military leaders that would prefer to see more progress, but they're doing the best they can with what they got. What they need is U.S. Air Force, the air support, NATO air support, U.S. air support. Just give them the planes already, man. What is the holdup? Ukraine needs fighter jets so bad. So here is this the same ship? This might be the same ship. Who do I think wins the war? There are too many factors that are up in the air for me to make an accurate prediction right now. It really feels like a very tight stalemate right now between Russia and Ukraine. So I'm not comfortable making a prediction on who will win the war. I'm comfortable saying what winning is. For Russia, winning is holding on to any Ukrainian territory. That makes them the winners, technically. For Ukraine, it's the complete expulsion of Russia out of Crimea and the Donbass. And her son, of course, but that's, comes with the territory. Get him out of Crimea. So I know what the stakes are. Who's, I don't know if that's going to happen for either side. I don't know. Also, once you cross the Dnipro, there are miles of boggy swampland that cannot be support heavy equipment. It is mostly just a distraction. That's what I'm thinking, Clutch Cargo. That's what the whole Dnipro River adventure, because the obvious play is cut the battle in half with Melitopol, and then head south from there while you're artillerying every position you can get an artillery shell in, you're firing away from across the Black River, right? From over there on the other side. Zelensky announced that Ukraine is sending, so this is interesting, and you got to give props over here, Tau, why fight if you can't even win in theory? Well, because we're not a bunch of defeatist pussies that are going to let a Russian empire walk all over a fledgling democracy that deserves its independence. That's why. Because we're not defeatists, losers, nihilists. Because we're not you, buddy. Because we're not you. So this is great news. Zelensky announces that Ukraine is sending humanitarian aid to Slovenia after the country experienced its worst flooding disaster in modern history. That's amazing. I'd literally never even heard of that. I need to look that up. Oh, Tau. Oh, yeah. Are you working hard every day to try to convince people to give up and let Russia win? That's so cute. That's so cute, buddy. I need to add Slovenia to my list here. And Slovenia, worst flooding in Slovenian history. Literally never heard of it. So we're definitely going to cover that later in the week. I know, Tau. Oh, you know what's pathetic, buddy? Because you know what a lot of lefties say? Oh, you're probably getting paid in rubles. You're not getting paid. You're just a pathetic loser wasting his time defending an empire you don't even live in. Do you live in Russia, dude? You don't, do you? You don't. It's just a political game to you. It's just some fun lark. You don't believe in anything. It's just fun. I'm pissing people off online. Yay! So good job for Zelensky there. Over there in Russia, a dam broke and Uziyursk, I don't know. You were in a war. Time Ukrainians are. Yeah. Yeah, I defend the Ukrainian sacrifice to defend their country from invasion, from an empire. The Ukrainians that are dead died for a better Ukraine, and I believe in their sacrifice. Yeah, I know I'm an asshole, buddy. That's why I put a camera in front of my face, man. People love assholes. Look at train wrecks. Cynical bastard. Ooh. All right, well, this isn't your show, so I got to move on. You're an asshole. We're just going to go ahead and kick you out of my chat, buddy. Bye-bye. There we go. Okay, moving on. So there was a dam that broke in Usursk Primorsky Krai, third world country that's going bankrupt because of one lunatic's war. So I guess this dam broke because of it wasn't maintained. I mean, Clutch Cargo, in some ways, it is fair to observe that Ukraine has already won. You know, it's like, but I mean, what would happen? The United States is not going to invade Ukraine. Germany, France is not going to invade Ukraine if Russia is successful in this war. Yeah, Zeoduke, it kind of looks like just like a hill of dirt. But Clutch Cargo, you know, if Russia wins this war, NATO is not going to invade Ukraine. The EU is not going to invade Ukraine to restore Ukrainian democracy. So Russia does have a chance to take this and win it. They do. If they never run out of money or resources, it does. It looks, dude, it's just a dirt hill. It's just a fucking dirt hill. Wow. Wow, maybe Russia should fire a missile at this problem. Might fix it. So this is hilarious. Propagandists on, you know, like the ones that we just saw recently here, on social media are so desperate to criticize Ukraine that they're actually now criticizing Ukraine for following standard military tactics. So we have an account called What the Media Hides. Ooh, what does the media hide? Oh, I don't know. I'm sure this guy knows, because big brain take of the week. Ukrainian helicopters are so scared of Russian air defense that they practically touch the grass when flying low. Got him! Got him! Ukrainians are such cowards that they use standard cute music, that they use standard military tactics. And last time I checked, it requires one, an incredible amount of skill, and two, an incredible amount of bravery to fly your helicopter this low. So yeah, I don't know, guys. Might not be the W take that you think it is there, bud. I think you kind of embarrassed yourself. NATO will guarantee Ukrainian sovereignty. No, it won't. No, it won't. And that NATO-Russian border will have been moved 1,000 miles east. Clutch Cargo, I'm afraid you're wrong. If Russia succeeds in taking a part of Ukraine, or taking all of Ukraine, NATO is not going to invade. The EU is not going to invade and save Zelensky and save Zelensky's government. That is not going to happen. I disagree with it. I don't agree with it. I'm not on NATO's side. I'm not on, I'm just telling you the cold, hard, cynical geopolitical reality. If Ukraine loses this war, they do face oblivion without repercussion. Is that footage of how the fire started in Hawaii? Yes. This is a Hawaiian pastime, is flying military helicopters 6 inches off the ground. They love doing it. If Russia successfully, Clutch Cargo saying NATO won't have to invade anything. If Russia successfully takes over Ukraine, NATO would have to invade Russia or Ukraine. Little unguided missiles. Do they? No. Those are countermeasures for missiles that for heat-seeking missiles and stuff like that. So that flares. Those are countermeasures. It's a grad and not great to start with. Okay, you know what you're talking about, Zeoduke. I'm sorry. I should have known better. Security guarantees by the West is a necessary precondition for any peace. Yeah, okay, man. But I'm just telling you, man. If Russia wins and Russia takes Kyiv, and starts changing the names of capitals and starts, teaching all Ukrainians, forcing them to learn Russia, NATO is not going to come in and save the day. That's what Zelensky's up against, right? And that's a good reason why they're fighting, that the West is trying to support Ukraine so hard, because they know that's real. They know that they're not sending boots on the ground. NATO is not sending boots on the ground. France, Germany, not sending boots on the ground into Ukraine to fight Russians. That's not happening. No, I'm assuming Kyiv stands. I see. Yeah, clutch cargo. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't think NATO is going to touch this shit with a 10-foot pole, unless Poland is directly attacked in some way, or Putin is going to have to punch first at NATO directly before NATO gets involved. That's my personal opinion. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Ukrainian, the official language, belongs to Russia. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Thank you for that history lesson, Todd. Like how we have different languages here in America. Yeah, I guess. So here's the explosion on the Kerch Bridge. Unfortunately, Davey was telling us all but one missed. And it looks like the Russian countermeasures, they put a lot on this bridge since the two attacks. There's like pontoons, and it's really difficult to attack now. And it looks like they were able to successfully shoot down 8 of 9. But still though, they got pretty damn close. They got pretty goddamn close. Up there doing the run where they point upward left to salvage unguided rockets, a bit of upward elevation. Yeah. They'll blast towards a target. Zeo Duke is right. They'll blast towards a target, and then right at the last second, to get a little extra angle on their shot, they'll pull way back, fire their missiles, and then immediately bank and turn around and countermeasure immediately, like immediately hitting the countermeasure button as they're banking and turning and staying as low as humanly possible. Yeah. I mean, they can understand each other, Russians, the Ukrainians, their language based on the same thing. Yeah, no, it's a very interesting aspect to this war, is that how connected the Ukrainian and Russian really are. It's, has some essence of civil war, right? Like in England, we speak English, but it's far from American English. Yeah, but that's a little different, though, I think. I mean, it's like they're just saying the same words differently, right? Like with Ukrainian and Russian, like there are different terms for different things in some cases, but UK English and US English, it's just, slang. It's like different, they're saying it differently. Dawdled, poppycock. Yeah, there's poppycock in the UK is poppycock in the United States. Dawdled in the UK is dawdled. It might spelled differently. Bloody hell. I use bollocks. I say bollocks all the time. That, bollard. There's bollards everywhere. But in Ukraine and Russian, there's like, ball. I don't know, but like just an example, like, cup will be a different word in some cases, and in some cases it isn't. Some cases it's exactly the same. Yeah, different vernacular. Yeah, I think you're right there, Todd in Minnesota. Spotted dick. So this is nuts. This is scary stuff when you see this. But yeah, this guy, I don't know what he was trying. I don't know what, probably a malfunction, probably some kind of malfunction. But yeah, does like a little half barrel roll straight down into the ground. Okay, is this all we get? Well, let's try a refresh here. Was this removed from X? No longer Twitter, folks. It's X. Yeah, there we go. Nope, that's it. That's all we get. Guess this camera looks like maybe some Russians maybe setting up camp somewhere. Looks like fun. A little bit of spotted dick. All right, folks, last clip of the day. We're going to get our map update. Looks like, ooh, Dennis just dropped a video 43 minutes ago. Let's go ahead and get our map update from your boy, Dennis. Everyone loves Dennis. Come on, Atlas VPN, get on it.
Hello my friends and welcome. When I first time saw those pictures, I thought that it's one more attack on the Kerch Bridge. It happened the last afternoon and here you can see lots of the smoke in different areas of the bridge. Especially in the area of the iconic arc where the ships usually pass by. There were lots of the images published in the internet showing the similar picture. Plus Russia started to fire lots of the air defense rockets, and here you can see on this picture is the air defense system. So some Russian just filmed it at the entrance to the Kerch Bridge, exposing the position of the Russian air defense. This is one more video and there you may see that Russia...
Come on, Ukraine knew where that shit is.
Shuts down something probably. But after those pictures were published, it became understandable that it is just the artificial smoke systems installed on the Kerch Bridge. I just wonder what is the purpose of that smoke, because rockets may find the bridge and
So yeah, I mean, rockets, that is funny. Interesting. Okay, so this is another countermeasure. That's why it looks so bad.
Anyway, the Russian officials say that it was the Ukrainian attempt to attack the bridge with S-200 anti-aircraft rockets. Well, those have quite a long range and were already used to attack the Russian military targets on the Russian territory. Russia claims that Ukraine was able to modernize those rockets to be ground-to-ground missiles. Before, only Russia did that modification to their S-300 rockets. So I do not exclude that the Ukraine definitely performed that attack. Russia launched the air defense missiles several times and locals report about 8 of explosions happened in the skies near to the Kerch Bridge. Probably Ukrainian missiles were intercepted by the Russian defense, or it could be just theater for the public. Locals were just chilling at the beach, then it happened. They all thought that it was the attack on the bridge. That is what I thought at first. Well, what can I suggest for those people? Just not to look in that direction, to keep positive and not put the bad thoughts in your mind. Don't look up, as usual. But some Russians even film what is happening in the skies, spreading that negative information around and also in internet. For example, this is the crash of Sukhoi Su-30 Russian military fighter jet. So you can see it on the video. It was
maybe he has more video
performing some sort of that stunt, showing off in front of the
No, it wasn't performing a stunt and it wasn't showing off, Dennis. It's a mechanical malfunction, bro. Come on.
Public, and went down behind the trees. Here we see it was some sort of the Russian session or festival. Those are the remains of the airplane. And
I mean, maybe it was a Russian air show. Maybe it was showing off for the people. Maybe that is the case.
And both of the pilots went total kaput. By the way, it was the Russian Air Force Day celebration. So those pilots did a grave mistake over there. We have some...
So it's possible that, you know, they didn't have the best of the best, right? Okay, well, it's some stupid propaganda air show, some junk out of the hangar. Or possibly, yeah, a pilot that, you know, because they're putting all the resources on the front lines, the guys that are doing these shows are maybe not the best pilots. That could be it.
Awesome news coming from the South front line, especially from Urozhaine. But before I tell you about it, let me shout out to the
Atlas VPN. Hey guys, you know, maybe I should get a sponsor where I get money, but I can't get sponsors that give me money until I get more viewers. So look, here's what you got to do. Get a family member. Force them to watch my show. Say, look, they'd be like, I don't want to listen to this guy. I don't like this guy. I don't know who this guy is. I don't want to watch him. Do it anyway. Okay, you're doing me a favor, and you know, and that means we're like connected. We're like family, basically, when you do that, right? So do it. Where's my parasocial relationship, man? Where's my clan of unwavering? Anyway, XQC running around with a bunch of Kai Cenat over here starting riots. I can't even get 100 viewers. I puke green garbage fuel. I get nothing. Doesn't even matter.
Which doesn't mean that there are no Russians left in this area. They still may fight, but the main Russian forces already left their village. This scenario is exactly what I told you yesterday and the day before yesterday. Ukraine uses lots of the artillery systems, aviation bombs and many other tools to get rid of the Russians in this particular place. This is the very important village that opens the way further. And we have the confirmation also from the Russian channels. They say that their forces left the village. Maybe someone stayed there, just 1 or 2 soldiers who were not able to run away at the proper time. Yet we don't have the update from the military map for today. Staromayorsk was taken by Ukrainian forces, liberated, I'm sorry, and Urozhaine, the show, is partially under the Russian control, but for now I'm sure that
I don't think it was 24 billion in cash. I'm not sure about that number either, but yeah, we sent them more shit, more stuff. They need it. They need it. They're, you know, we sent them cluster munitions because they're almost out of damn ammo. Where are the ammo factories in Ukraine? How come we're not building those? That's what I want to know. I want more information on that.
Ukraine is able to get to the end of the village, taking it back. For tomorrow's update, I'm sure that the deep state will show the actual picture. So what is the next step for Ukrainian army is to go to Staromlinivka. This is the very important Russian
Okay, I'm gonna try this one. Staromlinivka. Damn it. I just heard it. Okay, one more time.
Ukrainian army is to go to Staromlinivka.
Staromlinivka. One more time.
Picture. So what is the next step for Ukrainian army is to go to Staromlinivka.
Staromlinivka. Not bad.
This is the very important Russian hub and it stays just in the front of the main defense lines. The Ukrainian forces will advance at first to Zavitne Bazhana village,
okay,
but they're
I'm not
just
doing that one. I'm not, fuck you, I'm not doing that one.
Few of the buildings. It's not like Urozhaine or Staromlinivka. No, this is the tiny little village. However, there is very important crossroad. I don't think that Ukraine will stay there for a long time. We'll continue to assault to Staromlinivka from 2 of the directions, one from this side and the other one from this side. So liberating Urozhaine was a very important task for Ukraine, because our army just cannot bypass this village and leave it behind. Let's zoom out a little and see the Russian defense lines. You may see.
And we've seen Ukraine do this very smart. They're only fighting the battles that make sense. You know, that's why they haven't gone back into Bakhmut. They're surrounding Bakhmut. You know, they stopped putting resources into defending Bakhmut and holding Bakhmut when Russia, you know, basically secured all of Bakhmut and then stopped funneling endless amounts of troops into that area to be, you know, summarily killed immediately. So once it was a strategic disadvantage to support holding and pushing Bakhmut, Ukraine got the hell out of there. That's how you do it. And they're, you know, they don't need to, they're not going to have to retake Bakhmut. They're surrounding Bakhmut, right? And Russia's going to leave voluntarily or face obliteration in that area.
That
they don't have U.S. weapons factory there. They have U.S. biological research facilities there. I mean, it doesn't have to be, let it be 100% owned by Ukraine, right? But where are the artillery shell manufacturing plants? Where are the new ones?
there are also some other villages like Orlinsky, Georgievka, but those are again very small. The biggest
it's hard ass work, and it'd be a whole lot easier with air support. I'm not going to say Ukraine can't do it because they've shown capabilities most militaries only dream about. You know, so I'm not going to say that they can't do it. Clutch Cargo, if you're talking about the southern main defense lines that Ukraine hasn't even gotten to yet. They you know, Russia has heavily mined every inch of this space between the primary front. This is where the front is, actually. I mean, it's not the front, but these are the primary defense lines right here. Ukraine hasn't even gotten there yet because it's nothing but it's a sea of mines all the way there, and I'm sure it's a sea of mines is after it. But man, let me tell you, air support, like legitimate, you know, dropping bombs and helicopters and all that would absolutely change the difficulty of taking some of these areas and getting through some of these areas.
Village in this area is Staromlinivka, so again I expect long and hard fight for it, but it opens the straight way to the Russian defense. If Ukraine penetrates the Russian defense here, it is the free way to go to Berdyansk, for example, or to
Thank
Mariupol.
you, Todd.
Yes, there are also some of the defense lines, but they're not as significant as this one. The Ukrainian army still keeps its reserves, and from what I see, we have two main vectors.
I mean, look at it. Look at this, you know, and images like this will turn you into a defeatist, right? I mean, if you're not sure what these black lines are, these are Russian trench line, you know, Dragon's Teeth. And these are all manned by troops. They all, you know, who knows how well supplied they are in some of these areas here. But my God, a military nightmare. And to do all this without proper air support, quite a task.
I told you probably in one of my videos, one is over here and the other one in Orikhiv direction. This one is, I think, harder because there are many of the Russian defense lines. They try to protect the way to Crimea. Because if Ukrainian army advances from this direction, it's quite not possible to go to Crimea. It's the long distance. As for Crimea, there are only two ways, one from Orikhiv, the other one is from Kherson. Well, from Energodar it's also possible, but again there should be some sort of the pontoon bridges created across the Dnieper River, the same as in Kherson, by the way. As I told you many times already, Ukraine landed in Kazachie Lahyry. Today Russia started to accumulate some sort of the supplies and forces in Radensk to send for reinforcements to Kazachie Lahyry. However, Ukraine targeted the Russian supply hub in Radensk, causing them to evacuate. Ukraine uses quite a lot of resources to protect the bridgehead in Kazachie Lahyry. Yesterday, one of the Russian convoys was targeted near to Novakhovka. Today, the attack on the Russian supplies, it means that Ukraine is very, very serious, so it may potentially expand this area and take this very important road under control. Russia lost one more Terminator 2 armored vehicle. It was targeted by the FPV drone. You can see the silhouette of this armored vehicle. Russia says that it doesn't have any kind of the analogs in other armies. Basically, it has the tank base on the top in the turret. There are some anti-tank missiles and some of the 30mm cannons. So potentially Terminator 2 may fight against the infantry vehicles or even tanks. In reality, it's kind of clumsy because it has the tank engine and the tank chassis. So Ukraine was able to target this Russian vehicle using the FPV drones. You might have seen that this vehicle was shooting. After several of the FPV attacks on this vehicle, Russia sent the tank to tow it away. But this time the tank went under the fire of the FPV drones. Many wonderful videos were filmed. Unfortunately, I cannot post everything on this platform. So if you want to know more, you may follow me on Telegram.
Shut up, Dennis. You can show a fucking drone bomb going into a tank. Don't be a wimp.
Of the Russian hub. Our artillery this village. And this is the last place in Urozhaino where Russia concentrate their forces and supplies. So what happened to it, you may see on this video. Our artillery just got rid of the Russian hub. So in a few hours, the remainings of the Russian forces were forced to retreat from Urozhaino. The Russian soldiers tried to evacuate some of their supplies. You can see the tank mines on this carriage. So definitely.
Dude, this is from 1920, filled with mines from the Cold War.
They used these agricultural buildings as their main storages. However, they were too late with evacuation, and that is what happened to them. This is the new defense concept of the Russian infantry vehicles. It looks very, very interesting. I don't know how to call it. You may write in the comment section just below. And again, this roof is very high to protect against the FPV drones. Probably it was done to protect this vehicle against the Javelin shell. But it is way easier now to spot this vehicle on a battlefield.
Look, if it looks dumb, but it works, it's not dumb. Okay? So show me this. Show me some numbers that proves that this works. Okay? Because if it looks stupid, but it does the job, it's not stupid. Okay? But show me some proof that this works. It looks like they're going on like a nice summer cruise, like a nice summer pontoon boat, you know? Just floating around.
Alright, finally we have some of the encouraging articles from the mainstream media resources
Humble
that
mind
before
farmer
say
go
that the
boom.
counterattack of Ukrainian army has failed. This time, for example, the New York Times...
No, Todd, the idea is, you know, if you're a drone or you're a missile, you're going to trigger early, right? So instead of triggering when you've hit the actual body of the vehicle, the missile is actually exploding after it's hit this. You know, or if it's a grenade from a drone, it would bounce right off. So, you know, if it works, it works, right? I mean, look, folks, all I can tell you is that if I was on the battlefield facing Ukraine, right, with their goddamn drones and their Western artillery and their incredibly accurate missiles of all different shapes and sizes, yeah, I'd be putting on the bonnet. I don't care if it gives me a 1% chance. If it gives me a 1% chance to survive a Western weapon, I would gladly use the bonnet.
Probably it was down to protect this vehicle against...
Right,
but
but
before we have some of the encouraging articles from the mainstream media resources that before say that the counterattack of Ukrainian army has failed. This time, for example, the New York Times say that Ukraine makes tactical significant progress in its counteroffensive. They say that troops advance up to 12...
New York Times also lied us into the Iraq war, so...
miles along the two main lines of attack. Yes, the mainstream media always want to trigger you. Everything's failed. Oh no, everything is okay. They just want people to read their articles. Well, sometimes there is quite useful information that you may find only on the mainstream resources because they still have power to obtain the information from quite closed resources. Alright, there was the conflict with the deadly outcome between the Ahmad forces and the regular Russian army. It happened in Urzuv, which is very close to Mariupol. Well, so far we are in lack of the many details of what happened there precisely, but from what I understood, one of the Kadyrov soldiers of Ahmad battalion just pulled out his automatic rifle and kaputted two of the cars with military inside. It shows again that the Russian army is in lack of discipline. The Russian army also lost their fuel supply track between Melitopol and Berdansk. It's quite away from the front lines, around 50 kilometers away. Poland may send up to 6,000 soldiers to the border of Belarus. They already deployed something between 3,000 and 4,000 soldiers over there. The threat to Poland, Lithuania and Latvia is coming from Belarus. And the Wagner PMC, which is deployed in Belarus territory. I must say that the rumors about the possible Wagner movement back to Russia were probably fake news. They will continue to stay in Belarus and Russia will pay for it. At the same time, the self-proclaimed president of Belarus, Lukashenko, says that he wants to normalize the relations with Poland and Lithuania. Why does he say like that? Well, it's just a usual trick. The United States of America is pushing Egypt to provide weaponry for...
Yeah, I don't know who blew up the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. I will say that, I've looked at a lot of evidence, pro and against and all this. I will say that there does seem to be slightly more of an advantage for the United States to do it versus Russia. It seems like it's something that, would benefit the United States more than would benefit Russia. But there is no conclusive proof on who blew up that pipeline. And that's, of course, intentional, right? So I'm not going to... I see a lot of lefties like Hassan 100% certain that the United States did it. And I'm like, yeah, it's a real possibility. And I think, I think if you're going to game theory it, it looks like the United States has more of a reason to do it than Russia. But there's no fucking proof. There's no fucking proof. There is not a shred of evidence. That's not fair. There's some interesting evidence of like diving teams, being there a couple months before, some kind of training exercise happening. So there is some evidence, okay, but honestly, nothing has been very conclusive, at least for me. At least for me. Certainly for me to not for me to avoid saying with 100% certainty, like Hassan does. You know, I don't know where he gets his news, man, but it must be that millionaire news. You just get better news. It's like bacon, you know, you get better bacon when you're a rich guy. They just give you better bacon. They got it in the back.
Ukraine. However, Egypt continued to resist. The last year, Egypt even wanted to supply some of the rockets and artillery to the Russian Federation, but after the United States...
No, I don't think we have beyond a reasonable doubt here. That's what I'm trying... If it was beyond a reasonable doubt, I would basically agree with Hassan, but I don't think so. I really don't. I really don't. I don't think it's beyond a reasonable doubt. And follow the money, Occam's razor, sure, but I haven't seen enough evidence to be like it's the simplest description. You know what I mean? Both sides have done a very good job of muddying the waters, no pun intended. Oh my God, look at this. We got anime avatars. Am I a real streamer now? Look, Mom, I'm doing it. Is usually the most accurate one. I agree, Todd. I often employ Occam's razor, but that's my problem here is I don't have enough information for me to make that assumption. For me to feel comfortable saying this is the simplest, you know, this is obviously the simplest explanation. I don't have enough data to feel confident in saying that with the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. All I can say, though, is that out of the incredible body of evidence on both, that there's actually like 3 different, there's a smaller chance that it was a third actor. So I will, like I said, I will say, from the evidence presented, it does look like the United States, is more likely. What I'm trying to say is I'm leaning towards the United States, but I don't feel very confident saying, yep, it's the United States yet. I don't feel that yet. Give me some more. Just give me one more piece, right? Give me one nugget. Give me something, man.
It's pushed Egypt a little bit. They refused to supply weaponry to Russia. Now it's turn to supply that weaponry to Ukraine. But it's very hard to convince the Egypt government to provide the weaponry to Ukraine. My friends, and now please press the like to this.
Go. Like and subscribe, folks. Get yourself an Atlas VPN subscription. Drink some motherfucking garbage fuel and call your fucking mother. Because there you go, folks. That's the end of the Ukrainian coverage and the end of the News Underground for today. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you very much, YouTube. We're going to say goodbye to YouTube and then say goodbye to the stream. So thank you very much, YouTube.